Hi there, and welcome to this video lesson on how to get deeper, richer, wider sounding acoustic guitar chords by using the fifth note of the scale below the root note. Now, if that sounds kind of complicated or confusing, don't worry, I'm going to break it all down for you. But it's a great technique to use to get the most out of your acoustic guitar chords. I'll show you exactly what I mean here. First, a few basics. When we play a chord, any chord, let's say D or C for example, I'll use C, we're making one very important assumption about that chord. And that is if the chord is called C, we're assuming as guitarists that the C note here is the lowest note that we'll play. So you'll play your C chord and you'll actually start at the fifth string. You will mute the sixth string or just miss it. Simple enough, right? As a matter of fact, if you were to see on a chord diagram, you would notice that the sixth string on that diagram would have an X over top of it, meaning don't play. So the fifth string C is the lowest note on a C chord. That's an important assumption because that means that anything other than that, we have to purposefully add into the chord. And in the case of adding the fifth note below, what I'm looking at doing is I'm going to try to widen and thicken the sounds and make them deeper and richer sounding by adding the fifth note of the C scale, let's say, below the C. Now, in a C scale, you have C, D, E, F, G, so G would be the fifth note. There is a G note in the C chord. It's the open third string, but we're going to actually play a low G below this C, and you would find that on the next string over right at fret 3. Now, I first learned of this technique many years ago when I was a teenager learning to play guitar. Some of the more experienced guitar players would do this with a C chord, and I was kind of wondering what were they doing. What they would do is take a C chord, and instead of playing the C here with your third finger, they would reach over and play the low G and tuck the pinky behind to take that C. That gives a much richer and deeper sound to the C. Here's the traditional C. And here's the C with the low fifth added in, or what I call the low 5. Much deeper and richer sounding chord. Now, this is not necessarily something you can just do randomly. You may have to really check out your song and see if it will accept that kind of sound, but strategically used, this can be a very cool effect, and sometimes very dramatic. The beginning of David Bowley's Space Oddity, where he starts to sing ground control to major tom, is actually a C with a G below. You would find that written as a C/G chord to E minor. So that C, when he adds the fifth below, really deepens and enriches the sound. Now, to be perfectly honest, my favorite application, though, of using the fifth below is on chords that have 4 strings, like a D, for instance, 4, 3, 2, 1, or an F or an F major 7, only strings 4, 3, 2, 1. The reason why I like to use this is because a 4-string chord, by its very nature, is a kind of narrow-sounding chord. It sounds fairly thin. After all, you're only using 4 strings. And remember, the more strings you use, the wider and thicker the sound is. So what I will often do is play the low 5 or the fifth below the root on these 4-string chords to widen the sound. As a matter of fact, it's become my default move. If I'm just strumming a song with a D, I will often let the pick just go ahead and hit that open fifth string, which is the fifth below. You have your open D, the open A is the fifth below. So for me, a D chord is not just strings 4, 3, 2, 1, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll go ahead and actually use that as a default move. It makes that 4-string D a lot fatter sounding. And that would apply to any 4-string chord. So you could use it on D minor, on F. With F, you would have to treat it, F or F major 7, since your third finger is there on the string 4, you would have to treat it like we did the C before. So you would have F major 7, or even F, like this, as opposed to the 4-string version, which is a little bit thinner. So that's about it. I just wanted to clue you into how to use the fifth below to get the most out of your acoustic guitar chords. You can use it for dramatic effect, or you can use it just to strum all day long. Anyway, I hope you learned a little something, had some fun with that. please be sure to visit me at jimbowley.com and also check out the Facebook page and like it at Jim Bowley Guitar Instruction. I'll see you at your next guitar lesson.